With all we've been through, I wanted to stand firm and buy America. I wanted to take a stance and really keep our money here and build up as we come out of this last year of cooties. So today, we're going to look at digital insecurity, the company Ford. Why do American companies fail on purpose? That's the only thing I can come up with here. So let's take a peek at this. This came up because I went ahead and bought an American car. And today I saw this right here. Ford just shut down their factories and maybe going bust. This is something that Scotty, for any of you that have caught on to him, he just really been doing some great videos over the last few years, and it really throws his opinion out there for what it's worth. But then I was thinking, so this is not the car I bought. I bought a totally different Ford item that apparently does not last very long, and they had to replace the entire transmission. However, that was great because I had a new transmission, so a new lease on life, and the car was 4 years old. So I went ahead and asked them to replace the transmission, which they kindly did. And I had that for about 29 miles before that transmission blew out as well. And I will tell you that although I just bought this secondhand, I do know the owner, and the owner has always has it serviced regularly via a warranty program at that same dealership. So all the maintenance has been kept up on time, and it has been their sole responsibility under the Ford umbrella to do that. And yet the car lasted 4,000 years. And this was the absolute top of the line car with every bell and whistle you could possibly think of. Parked itself, full moonroof, all the add-on packages, because we had thought that this would be a good, 20-year car. Well, lo and behold, that's not the status where Ford is today. So I bring this car up because this is a picture. Of course, I'm in the States here, so the license plate is different. This is just an image, but this is the type of car that they gave me as a rental while they've now had my car for almost 4 months, and they're trying to figure out what to do. However, each time I go in to check on my car, I am finding more and more individuals that are getting buyouts. As the service manager informed me that Ford is putting out so many cars that just aren't running, he's having to inform people that yes, you do have to keep making your payments, your monthly payments, but no, you can't have your car back. It's a major, major issue. And so if you take a look at this car, this is like half a car, right? This might be the size of a Bolt. I think it might even be a little small. The trunk, when you look at it, actually in person looks like it's kind of chopped off. It is a very small, compact car, the smallest car I've ever had. And I got to give it to Ford. That seat in the driver's seat is very, very comfortable. There's one positive point. Uh, but I want to know, how is it possible that this little compact car with EcoBoost actually gets 22 miles per gallon? Now, how is that even possible? 20 years ago, GSA, General Services Administration, which is the arm of the government who maintains most of the government buildings and also government fleet vehicles, put out mandates that in order for them to buy cars, vehicles had to meet specific criteria, and one of them was increased miles per gallon. This is actually down slightly from where we were at 20 years ago. How hard did Ford have to try to make sure that we are still attached to oil, and oil on a massive level? This is a partnership by lobbyists. This isn't just something that happens. As we've seen from a multitude of other companies, MPGs right now, 28 is easy to hit. 36 is really more close to the norm. And if you throw in a hybrid, you can even get 38 on a Sienna minivan. How hard is Ford trying with their EcoBoost to produce on this little tiny economical vehicle 22 miles per gallon? So we've got a few issues we're looking at here. Not only is my car a brick with the second and going on third transmission right from the Ford plant, This is not a rebuild. These are new transmissions they're grabbing. I started to look at some articles, and here's one from 2019. Ford announces 12,000 layoffs and 5 plant closures. Now, what I noticed is the majority of these individuals, well, pretty much all of them, were union workers. They were lifetime workers with Ford who took pride in the vehicles they were producing. They had secure jobs, they could have a work-life balance, and they could come back and take pride in what they were doing. And yet someone in a brilliant arena decided we can cut costs. So as I contacted different friends who live in different states, they have confirmed to me that yes, their Ford locations did reopen, but all that they knew that were union workers aren't there anymore. They're hiring contract labor. Contract labor gets around all the laws and they can do layoffs fluidly. There is no commitment to the employee. There is no understanding that you'll be here for the next production run. There's no pride of ownership or even want to create a great product, because at the swing of a bell, you're not there anymore. So here we have May of 2021, Chicago Ford workers face hardship after 8 weeks. And I clicked on that. Let's go ahead and, oops, maybe it disappeared already. So I'll go ahead and go back to this one. So this is World Socialist website. So very interesting place. I've got to tell you that this is not one that I've come to before, but this is Frank Anderson, and this was May 30th, 2021. Chicago Ford workers face hardship after 8 weeks on layoff due to chip shortage. So we've heard quite a bit about this chip shortage, but there's a lot more to it. Workers at Ford Chicago assembly plant have faced significant hardship during the 8-week shutdown of the factory due to the global shortage of critical computer semiconductor chips. The plant's 5,700 hourly workers have been on temporary layoffs since April 12th. The plant builds the Ford Explorer, the Police Interceptor utility, and the Lincoln Aviator. Currently, production is set to resume at a reduced schedule starting the week of June. However, if you go back to Scotty's link here, he is well, apparently we won't, it closed down. He was announcing that, in fact, here we are July 11th, and they have now announced extended plant closures. And I think they extended it to 8 different plants, and with a reopening of maybe partially in August. And yet, as I've been waiting for a transmission that actually works, and many people have taken delivery of new vehicles with transmissions that do not work, essentially, we're just buying bricks from Ford. How long is this going to last? The lemon laws in California are protecting us. But how far does this go before Ford cries bankruptcy once again, gets itself wiggled out of these messes, and starts forward again with contract labor? So here we go. We've got the whole Ford lineup here. So you can see they have quite a variety. I mean, we all know Ford, and we can see the spectrum from cars to trucks to SUV to these Transit Connects to even more of a sports vehicle. And yet look at this right here. At the time, our 20 mile per gallon rated 2.7 liter EcoBoost, there's the EcoBoost again, which is really having nothing to do with economical, I can tell you that, averaged 16.4 miles per gallon with $18,000 under its belt. So it didn't even meet the minimum rating of 20. It's just unbelievable. Again, I asked, how hard do they have to try this? Well, what I wanted to do from here is take you to this list. So here we have, I just looked up the most reliable 2020 cars, and year after year, it's the same thing. Now this year, I don't see Honda top of the list, so that will rotate in and out, but you've got Toyota, Mazda, you've got a Hyundai thrown in there, Lexus. That's what surfaces. The Lexus, Toyota, Honda are always up there. Mazda kind of fluctuates in and out. And we're seeing more of the creeping in of the Hyundai. But what I will point out is there are no American companies on this list. Again, how hard do they have to try? So as we round this out, I want to come back to what we're focusing on here, digital insecurity. Vehicles today are all run by, as you see, chips. They can't even build the vehicles. Everything about them is automated. Everything about them is connected. I was in a session in about 2018 where the CEO of, boy, it's dropping out of my mind. I always want to say Mobility. It's an Israeli company that is monitoring all the feeds of these cars. They're tracking where they're going, mileage, all the data on them, and it sends that feed to the satellites. And then there's a company out of Israel, an intelligence company, that is collecting all this data from every company in every car in the United States that was built after 2016, some before that as well, but 2016 on, all that information is being gathered and sent overseas. There is a question there as to why is your data about your driving being sent? Well, this is also being sent to your car insurance companies. Have your insurance rates fluctuated? If you have a student driver, erratic driver, if you got change, they know it. It's all being tracked. Now, what about insecurity on another level? If I make the device, I can control where the data goes. So if I'm buying a company from, let's say, China or Russia, or here we've got Japan, not only is that data being sent over to the company in Israel, it's probably being sent in duplicate back to those companies as well. And they can continue to control our data. And let me just put this out there again and again and again. Do not get in a rental car and politely plug your USB into the console. You don't need to have the capabilities of having your car audio run through the car, because each time you plug your USB in, that car is grabbing everything off your phone. Now, if it's your car, that's one issue. And if you're going to sell your car, I highly recommend you clearing out that system before you sell it. But if it's a rental car, the very next individual who gets in after you can tie into that same data system and pull down all the information that you allowed to flow into that car from your phone. The vehicles in the United States are a huge issue right now, and they are a huge lapse of digital insecurity. I'd not only ask why these American companies are failing on purpose, because there is no other excuse for the way that they're handling the issues. But the next level that we're already at is autonomous vehicles. Computers can be hacked. Autonomous vehicles are being hacked. Digital insecurity is something we need to wake up to and figure out before our car has somebody else controlling it. This is digital insecurity. This one was particularly focusing on Ford and why do American companies fail on purpose? Of course, I'd love to see the comments below on this one.